Hey, it's Mr. Gray here. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I, for the most part, did. Today I'm going to be talking about the Bait Stranger Things Nike Air Tailwind 79. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my daughter.
Cat Bandit.
She said Cat Bandit. And my son.
Darth.
They wanted to do this. They wanted to introduce this sneaker with me. She's actually the younger one, but she's standing on something because she's so short she wouldn't be in the frame. Anyway, I am excited today to bring you the Nike Air Tailwind 79 Bait Stranger Things. Before we jump into the actual shoe, once again, Stranger Things, for those of you that don't know, is I'm assuming if you got here, you do know what Stranger Things is. But for those that don't know, Stranger Things is a series that is on Netflix. I believe this was the third season. Hopefully I got that correct. Either way, I do love the show, and I have watched all the full series. But this last one, I'd say they've definitely gotten better with each season. So this last season was done really well. Stranger Things gives you that old school feel. It's almost like a mix of, actually it goes further back. I was gonna say kind of like I said before, X-Files and Goonies kind of mixed together, but it has tons of nostalgic elements to it. If you are I don't know if it's the 70s, 80s, whatever, baby. There's so many elements of your life that you see in the movie that it makes it really exciting, and it's just a great show. It does fall more on the sci-fi part, but not too far sci-fi where people who don't like an overabundance of sci-fi would enjoy. Anyway, let's jump into the sneaker. But before we jump directly into the sneaker, let's jump into the shoebox. So I love what Nike did with this. I love it when they get more creative. So I guess before we even get further in the shoebox, I apologize. I keep slowing you guys down on what I'm going to give you. As you know, Nike's already released several Stranger Things sneakers and apparel, but these are definitely more special than the initial drops. So first, let's start with the shoebox. As you can see, it has the Nike symbol on it, but it actually is written out to look the exact same as the Stranger Things logo. All of it looks pretty much the same. You have that 1985, since that's about 1985 is the time frame that the TV show is based around. So you can see Stranger Things written at the bottom there. On the inside of the box, Nike Stranger Things. Go figure. Also, if you haven't seen it, you may want to close your ears if you haven't watched it yet. This might be a bit of a spoiler, but the biggest battle went down in the Starcourt Mall. You know, you have an actual map here of the Starcourt Mall, which from what I think I've read is actually a real mall. Anyway, that to me is just really cool. I'll show it to you, so you can see the full thing there. For those that haven't seen Stranger Things, it's a great show. You really need to check it out. Now into one of the accessories that came with it. You have some pins that came with it. Just regular pins. Right here, just have one that says Nike Stranger Things, the Starcourt Mall, and then you have the van, the Hawkins Power and Light Company, which really was a sinister group of folk. I don't want to spoil it too bad for you guys that decided by this video that you want to watch it. But anyway, it's worth watching. Without further ado, we have the Nike Bait Air Tailwind 79. It's a mouthful. Anyway, so when you read about it, it says kind of a gray, a rough kind of textured gray upper. But when you get it in person, it's more of a tan, a light tan upper, if you ask me. It's the Tailwind model. This right here is more of a cloth. Well, I guess it's all more of a cloth. This is, I don't know. I can't even explain this texture. Maybe if it was a freshly sheathed sheep, is what it feels like. I know that's crazy, guys, but that's what I have for you today. This right here is more of like a cloth, just a thin cloth material. So, if you've been doing any reading about it or been anticipating the shoe, from what you probably heard is that you can actually burn off the upper layer to see either messages below the top layer or different colors, and that is true. But Mr. Gray is not burning this pair of sneakers. So I will tell you what I've been reading about it and from what I've been able to see from the pictures online. I know on the back of at least the right shoe, if you burn this part off right here, Nike, you'll see Stranger Things written on this back end. I've seen other silhouettes where people burn around the Nike symbol in parts of the back, and supposedly, according to my reading, you'll see different colors of the box. There's only 2 colors on the box, black and red. So my strong assumption is under here is a black and red shoe of some sort, which I will not be knowing because I have no plans of burning this shoe. I apologize. I'm sorry, guys, for you guys that wanted to see that. As you can see, it comes laced up with white shoelaces, and you get a spare pair of black shoelaces. Now into other awesome but smaller other details. I don't even know if I can pull. I'm not pulling that off. So I'll show you. There'll be a screenshot of the inside of the insole, but on the insole you have the Susie, Do You Copy, which is actually right there, which is actually the name of the first episode of this last season that just came on. You look like right further there on the insole. You can see the diagram once again for looks like the Starcourt Mall. Under here, under the insole, you have a message which says this week is long, and which is the message that was actually I really don't want to mess it up for you guys. Some of you guys may just want to close your ears right now. All right. But this was a message that was it was a code that was broken. It was I guess it was somewhat in Russian in the movie, and several of the characters had to find out what the code was, and it is mute. If you don't want to know, the week is long. The silver cat feeds when blue and yellow meet in the west. A trip to China sounds nice if you tread lightly. All right. Then on the other shoe, you actually have a picture of and I don't want to know if it's called a reactor, but it was some type of machinery that the Russians were using to drill into the other place where the I don't know if I'm gonna say monsters, but the beings were. But you can probably see that a good bit. That was the machine they were using. Let me give you a little bit closer up. There you go. Actually, now I can realize I can show you a little better into the other shoe because I hate pulling out the soles. I apologize. I can always tell that they're kind of glued in, and I just hate the sound of the ripping of when I pull it. If when I pulled it, it just lightly came up and out, I would absolutely do it, no problem. But anyway, you can see down in the bottom, right down there. Anyway, so you have that. And also, there are messages on the back of the tongue. If you can't see that, I'm going to read it to you in a second. It says, caution, removal of top layer may reveal alternate dimension. It will be over soon. Let's see if the other shoe says the same thing. And the other shoe says the same thing. I love this. So in Russian, on the other shoe is the actual message that I read to you from the right shoe. On the left shoe, it's actually written in Russian, which is just stupid awesome. Once again, you give a shoe a story and give us some great detail to add to that story. And as far as I'm concerned, you have a great shoe. I have never owned a Nike Air Tailwind, but now I do, and I'm glad I do. I'm a stickler for tan and off-white and cream and brown colors in my sneakers. I do have several, I guess they're further down there, that I do like of this coloring. Either way, this is a special shoe. It is there's not several that were released. Once again, it was a Bait exclusive. It was initially released at San Diego Comic-Con, but then also the Bait store actually, the Bait store actually had a release also, and they did it more like a scavenger hunt where you had to find different things, and a few people were able to get the shoe, or if you didn't get the shoe, there were probably some other accessories, which you probably cried if you got accessories in those shoes. I'm sorry for you guys who didn't get it. But anyway, one last thing to say about it is the next shoe that's coming out that has a burn away top layer supposedly is going to be a Cortez edition. You know what the Nike Cortez is, and then there's going to be a mid blazer edition, which I love blazers, so I have to get my hand on the blazers. I will not burn away the upper of any of them unless I can. If I'm lucky enough to get two, then I will burn away one for you guys, but the other will stay nice and fresh, and I will wear it unburned. And I'd actually wear the burned one too, because it would be nice to be able to wear it both ways. Either way, that is the Stranger Things Nike Air Tailwind 79 bait sneaker for you today. I hope you guys loved it. Let me give you one more. Once again, I know it from first glance it has a plain look. I like shoes like this because they go with almost everything I wear, but if you burn it off, you probably have a more interesting shoe. I will not be doing that. But anyway, guys, I just want to thank you once again for tuning in. It's been a great Monday. I hope the rest of your week is great. Mr. Gray out, and please subscribe. Guys, tell them bye.
Bye.